we're going to take a few minutes to talk about on-site activities with Freedom School and answer some frequently asked questions about leading an on-site activity. So, Kenya is joining me today.
So, Irene, what are a few examples of popular on-site activities with the scholars?
Well, really you can use any skill or interest that you may have, and if you can think of a hands-on way to engage scholars in an activity for 30 or 45 minutes using that skill or interest that you have, that can be a great on-site activity. So you can see on this table I have a couple of flower pots. You could lead an on-site activity that was planting flowers, and then they could have them for their classroom, or they could keep them outside. It could be something as simple as that. Or if you are into sports, you could lead sort of a mini basketball camp or a soccer camp to teach them some of the essential skills of the sport. With the younger scholars, it could even be something as simple as bringing in a new board game to teach them for 30 minutes, or sidewalk chalk and bubbles outside. Or you could, if you're artistic, you could bring in some paints and have everybody paint a collage or put together a piece of artwork that was a representation of their likes or dislikes. You can get as creative as you want. So anything that's hands-on and a way to learn or try something new and just be active with it is a good activity.
So, how long should each of these activities last?
Well, a good goal to aim for is 45 minutes. The timing may vary a little bit depending on your particular activity. So you can think about your idea and kind of imagine how long it's going to take with a group of children. And you're going to want to plan, in addition, for yourself some time to arrive early and prep and set up, and then plan to stay a little bit longer after the activity ends in case there's any cleanup to do as well. There's some activities that are a little bit more intricate, and so they might take more than 45 minutes. For example, there was a sewing project last summer that included several different stations. So first you had to pick out your fabric, then you had to cut it out on the template, and then you had to sew it at this station, and then you had to put something else in the other station. And so that took like an hour and 15 minutes. But in your mind, start with a 45-minute goal, and then you can do a little bit longer, a little bit shorter from there. And as long as you communicate with your volunteer coordinator at your site, who you're signing up with, they'll make sure that you have the time you need on the date that you're available.
So, how many scholars should I plan this activity for?
Most volunteers want to lead an on-site activity with 10 scholars at a time. So that's one class. Every class at Freedom School has 10 scholars. And that's pretty much, I guess, what most volunteers would like to do. But if you have a big activity, maybe you need 2 teams of 10 and they're going to be competed against each other, or you're going to do a scavenger hunt in a big open space, you know, you can think of your own ideas. But if it's an activity where you think it would work well with 20 scholars, then 2 classes could do it together at the same time. And a lot of that just depends on the scheduling, so it's what you want. It's going to be at least 10, and then if you want it to be 20, it can. And another option that you have is you can lead your activity with one class of 10 for 45 minutes, and when they're done, they can rotate out and another class can rotate in, and you could do the same activity again with a second class. But that still keeps the size smaller and a little bit more manageable.
Right. So, how many people do you think it will take to lead one of these activities?
Well, many volunteers like to bring someone with them to do it together, and so that's perfectly fine if you have a friend who wants to come and do it with you. If you feel confident to lead the activity by yourself, that's fine too. Keep in mind that there's always going to be a staff person with you. The servant leader intern is going to be with you in the room, and so if you need a hand, there's another adult there, but you're welcome to bring a friend. And especially if you maybe don't have as much experience working with children, but you have a bright idea, I encourage you to bring a friend with you who maybe does feel really comfortable with children, because then they can help you out with that part of it.
So, could a high school student lead one of these activities?
They can. And our partners have found that it tends to work best if a high school student brings an adult volunteer with them and they do it together. And even if the high school student really does all of the work and the planning behind it, and so they had the idea, they've prepped all the materials, and they're the one at the front of the group explaining it and helping everybody get started, even just having another adult in the room who came with them who knows about the activity can give them an extra boost of confidence. And if they need to help them out, they're there, just in case. And we found that so it tends to work best when an adult comes along with a high school student.
Great. So what qualities would you say a leader of one of these activities should have?
Well, the volunteers who tend to enjoy doing this the most are those who are dynamic and engaging and have experience working with children. You have to be a little bit creative because, you know, we don't make the template for you. So if you're someone who likes to come up with your own ideas and you can be engaging, then this could be a really great activity for you. If you really like the idea of doing this, but maybe you're not sure if you're going to be engaging or you don't have as much experience working with children, so if you're feeling a little bit insecure about that part, then just invite a friend to come with you who maybe has been working with children for a long time and explain your idea and have them come with you, because that way together you'll be sure to have a really good experience.
Great. So what materials do I need to bring with me to do one of these activities?
As you're planning your activity, just kind of make a mental list, or you can write it out, of all the activities, all the materials that you're going to use. And you're going to want to bring with you, don't plan on the site having what you need. You're going to want to bring it by default. And you can talk to the site coordinator ahead of time and ask, you know, if there's a commonly used material like a broom to clean up afterward because you're doing Play-Doh. You can ask, do you have a broom I could use to clean up afterward? Or will I need to bring that myself? You know? So if it's something commonly used, then you can ask about it. But like if you want to bring acrylic paints, you're going to want to bring them. Flower pots, you're going to have to bring them. If you want to make sure there's 3 basketballs, you might need to bring them. Even things like newspaper to cover the tables if you're going to be doing something messy, it's a good idea to bring anything you might need. And the only way that you wouldn't need to bring it is if you asked first and they said, don't worry, we have that.
So what are just some overall tips that you would have to make sure that I have the most successful on-site activity possible?
Sure. Well, one thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to talk to your volunteer coordinator ahead of time and make sure that they know the activity that you're planning. That way, if there's anything like space-wise that you need, like say you really need an indoor space and it needs to have 3 tables, you want to make sure that you communicated that first so that the staff can have that ready for you and be prepared for that. Or if you need an outdoor space, same thing. You want to make sure you communicate that well in advance so that they can say, yes, we do have a large outdoor space we can use, and sure, we'll make a mental note that we're going to use it that day, you know? So that's one of the things. You're going to want to arrive early so that you can make sure you can find the entrance, say hello to the staff, and do any prep or setup work that you need to do. If you have a messy activity, it works well to bring newspaper or plastic to cover the tables you're going to use. And if you're working with the youngest scholars, the level 1s, and you're going to be doing something like painting, you might want to consider making homemade painter's smocks. You could even use like a large kitchen trash bag and cut holes for the arms and the head, or you could use old t-shirts, you know, so that they don't get really messy. And it can help to delegate for the intern that's working with you. If you say, hey, would you help me with this? They want to be there and they want to help, but sometimes if you say, hey, it would really be helpful if you bring a bucket of water, you know, or whatever, that helps them know how they can assist you. And ask for help. If you need help with anything, just ask for it. We all are here to work together, and we want to hear your feedback about your time as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me and explaining all of this stuff about on-site activities. I can't wait to do one.
Well, you're welcome. And if you have any more questions or you want to discuss ideas, you can always call us at the central office, and our phone number is 704